Everybody turn on their mics.
Recording in progress.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We're in the Sheridan City Council chambers. Angela, can you call roll?
Yes. George?
Here.
Buckles?
Present.
Flynn?
Here.
Houston?
Present.
McElroy?
Here.
Hebert? Here.
We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda, Preston?
No, I have none, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have any online public comment?
No.
Okay, all right, we've got one form here from Joe. I'll just go ahead and read the statement while he's coming up here. Public comment portion of the agenda is the opportunity for the council to listen to the public, but not for dialogue. Public is allowed up to 3 minutes to present information relevant to the city. The topic issue brought up may be referred by the council to the city manager for inclusion on a subsequent council agenda. Council has the discretion to ask questions after comments are concluded. Please note, complaints should first be addressed to the appropriate city department and or the city manager prior to directly addressing the council. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe Lee, West Valley Transparency, Sheridan residents. So I don't know if anyone noticed the poll that I did. It was basically, what is the biggest reason why you would not consider running for Sheridan City Council? There were 53 participants out of 4,000, 5,000 residents. 26 of them, which is 49%, said I don't have time. 18 of them, which is 34%, said I don't live in the city limits but have a Sheridan address. I'm not ready for that responsibility. That's 3 people. That's 5.6%. Maybe I will, which is 2 people, 3.7%. Doesn't pay well, 3.7%. Haven't been here long enough, at least that's good. 1 person, 1.8%. And the other one is I don't like being on camera, 1.8%. So 49% is basically telling me they don't have time, but there is a margin, a small one, 34%, which says that they don't live in the city limits, but they would love to be part of it. So maybe, I know there was talk about revising the charter, and I think that is in the charter. Maybe that's something to maybe explore in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, for getting that poll, Joe. Appreciate
I'm not sure if we have sheriff deputy here, but we can go ahead and go over the sheriff report first. Any questions or comments about this? Go ahead, Jim.
Well, this is a new category for us on page 9. I went back 2 years and we haven't had this category, but since we now have it, we had a, let's see, this must be an arrest for prostitution. That's a first for Sheridan, as best I could tell by looking back. And other than that, I didn't see anything really significant, except there was a lot of, since we heard Officer Grant talk about how they rate their calls in priority, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 being the most important. And there are a lot of 1s on here for priority, so they have had some interesting calls at this point. But that's about all I have to say about sheriff's report.
Your Honor, if I could mention, I think you're all aware, but Deputy Alex Grant got the Medal of Valor Award through the Oregon Sheriff's Association. A big write-up in the Sheriff's Magazine, so we're proud of him for that.
Can you give us the short version of what caused them to do that? I mean, other than the state, which I know has done something spectacular.
It was responding to the call at the RV park of a person who was threatening residents with a knife, and he showed up in time and took care of the situation.
Excellent.
So yeah, it was tough thing to do.
Good to hear that he does that, and he still actually, when he can, gives us the time to come here and talk about this work.
We're lucky to have him.
Okay, any other comments on the sheriff report? Then we can, okay, we'll go ahead and move on then to the consent agenda.
Your Honor, can I jump in then one more thing on the sheriff's report? I've had a talk with several folks in the sheriff's office. And Cale and I have had several discussions. And the deputies have really responded so great. You know, we're so happy with the services they provide. And how we're working together with City Hall and our code compliance officer, all of these things. They want to institute an electronic ticketing process, which is wonderful. Asked if I was interested in participating on that. Yeah, sure, that'll help our, municipal court and everything. That is all very efficient to have clear ticketing information given out every time. But they're gonna fund all that. So in their discussions though, the best way that we could help them and show our appreciation, because they really have changed a lot over the last year, is to get them one of the new radar guns. It would be shared, whoever's on shift. It's not the typical radar gun that sends out like a bulb, you know. This is a targeted LiDAR.
Hair dryer type? Damn, it looks like a hair dryer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
they're intelligent.
I don't know, but they run about $1,500, and they would be used by our deputies as they come on. And I think that would be a great way for us to show our appreciation and support their operations. So I want to get them that gun. I want to get them that radar gun and show them how much we appreciate that. So, any objections on that? That's great. Well, thank you. I'll let them know.
You give them two?
Your Honor, we had a hand up.
I would just say just make sure it's calibrated, because some people will contest that in court if it's not been calibrated. Whereas the last time it was calibrated?
To go along with what Joe just said, if, not that I've necessarily been to court, but, the officers usually get up on the stand and say, I calibrated the gun prior to, using it that day, so they're calibrated daily if they're gonna stick with that.
Right on.
Okay, we're back to the consent agenda. Do you have any comments on this?
You want the motion or the comments first?
Maybe the comments first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll yield to Denny, because I have a tendency to go too long.
Okay.
I've got a few.
Okay.
I see that, Best Pots, we have a pretty good sized bill with them. I don't know how many porta potties we have. I don't know where any are, actually, that the city's paying for. And the bill's, $2,345, so I don't know where they're located.
Well, we have quite a few we put out in December. I don't know of any big, that's the amount I included in my expenses to deal with the water disaster that we had. Bringing in, porta potties for downtown and City Hall where we had
That's
supplies.
actually my question. Thank you. I got another one. I went over to Madison Street with those four ADA ramps that were put in, and I see we paid $8,000 first payment on, and they're not done.
Correct, it's not done.
Okay.
Can I jump in and
Yes.
let I caught this one too, because I've already signed 2 checks for $12,000 each for these folks, and then he said, we're not gonna pay him with that. Has those checks been pulled back and ripped up or whatever, so that? they
One
never
was,
sign it?
one was canceled, yes, correct.
Cause this one does say first payment, I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
Sorry, Dave.
That's okay. Then, on page 22 of 58, my bridge team, our CPA, the 22 grand, just curious, when's this gonna end? Cause I think we're pushing close to at least 150,000, 140,000,
Yes,
and we're not done yet.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. So I was planning on, talking about that tonight. I can do that now if you like.
Sure.
Yeah, so, I'm of the mind, and the staff is, I've talked to Jim about this a couple of times now, is we gotta get this work done, this past work on our budgets. And, we're talking about the fiscal year 2025. Getting that done so we can get it audited, so we can have beginning fund balances for next fiscal year. You're not out of the hole until you have beginning fund balances based on actuals. At that point, we can say, finally, we got out of the hole, okay? That's very important to get done. I wanna have them come in, her and her assistant, come in and camp out. And they do it for 2 days, come back later, another couple weeks, we need to get that done. That's not the only reason to have a decent budget for next year. That's not the only reason to get it done. I mean, that's a wonderful thing, right, Jim? That's a wonderful thing. You know, we've been talking last year, I talked to the budget committee about what's gonna take to get out of the hole. Predicted 6 months, well, it's gonna be more like a year. And we need to get that done for one thing for the budget, but there's another reason behind all that that's very important to get that done now. And that is because once we get our budget done, then we're better in a position to dump Tyler Tech and get a new software system. Not having to mess with setting up a whole year's budget on a product that they're not supporting to our satisfaction. So we get this done, we got our figures done, and then we move into a new software system and dump Tyler Tech. They're not supporting the product. That's the plan. That's where we need to go. Yeah. Well, how does everybody feel about that?
Good. Very good. Thank you.
Well, I don't feel good about it because it costs too much money to be making mistakes like this. But we have to get away from the burden, this ball and chain around our neck. So
It doesn't work. I got one more. It's on page 23 of 58. And it's the Oregon Department of Revenue Finance section. Criminal fine, $2,975. So there was a criminal activity that happened that we got fined for. Who is responsible for that criminal activity?
I don't know where that, page 23, right?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Starts at the bottom of page 22.
It's,
Is that the one?
that's the word.
Oh, gotcha.
Angela, is that a portion of fines that we collect that we have to remit? No.
I have a question to go along with that, if I may. I noticed that even the last entry in that section is for February 2026, so we're still paying whatever these fines are. I'm just guessing it has to do with our inability to get a, audit for our budget, is that what?
Well, it's not a really inability of our budget, it's trying to catch up with our, paying our portion of the fees. I think this, like Tyler suggested, I think these are our portion that we pay the state for fines that we collect. I can verify that.
I appreciate that.
But we are, this is, one of the areas where we're behind and we're catching up.
That's what it looks like.
Thank you.
Right.
Good, Jim.
I have several, I'm sorry. This is an observation, nothing wrong with this, but, for the Christmas parade, love the Christmas parade. The city paid $190.80 for candy for the parade. I know chocolate's expensive, but maybe we should switch to the hard candies instead of buying chocolate. Because that's a lot of money just for candy for a parade. That's just an observation. On, yeah, the very first page, page 15, oops, I'm sorry. Stand by, get this right. I'm sorry, right. Next, I have, yeah, page 16, Cascade Waterworks. A lot of stuff, $20,422.59. Was this flood related, or are these just regular expenses that, we have?
Good, Jim.
Page 16, down near the bottom, Cascade Waterworks. The first
I'm
one-
not sure, Jim, that that's a particular project, because we've had leaks, subsequent to the,
I just,
the
the
disaster
biggest one
event.
says river pump 3 motor, I'm thinking, well, that could have been part of that, where we had them come in and, draw water from the river to give people non-potable water. I'm guessing at this, but that's a big expense, $14,000 just for that, and then total of $20,000. I'm hoping it's, flood related, but you can't tell by looking at it.
Yeah, I'd have to know the details on that, Jim, I
Okay.
can't tell you, but, these are, most of these, like you see that outside service, that's gonna be project related.
Okay.
It's not an ongoing thing.
Jim, Jenny might have something to add. You have something to add to that?
Yeah, so the river pump 3 motor, in February, they were set up at our water pump with the crane and pulled that pump. And they probably did repair work on it at that time because they had the parking there blocked off. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
so that's probably what that one was.
Moving along to, page 17, to the left, our budgets. The first two lines are labeled flood/side, but the next two very large numbers just say engineering general services. Do you know if those are flood related? I hope they are. There's $8,080.03 worth of, expenses there.
May not be, Jim, we've had a lot of engineering services. We've got repurposing the grant work that we're doing, which I'll talk about later. We've got, ongoing projects we're trying to get done. And, as you know, Civil West has been purchased by a bigger company.
I do.
And we're gonna make sure to hold their feet to the fire to transition these projects and get them done. There's a lot in the transition. My guess, these are not disaster related, except where it comes into applying for grant funds. They've been very helpful, our engineers in applying for grant funds, helping us get the data to apply for grant.
Excellent. Next on page 19, I see we got the, no engine brake signs we were talking about the past several months. Have they been put up yet?
Yes,
Yay.
the answer is yes.
That's excellent.
Only took 5 years, didn't
It's not bad.
Page 21, from window pumping. Two things, I'm surprised at the cost from the window pumping. $1,760. But it keeps getting labeled as a septic tank. And I think we should all know it's not a septic tank, it's a holding tank. So this is gonna keep coming up however often it needs to be pumped. It's not, septic tanks wouldn't need to be pumped every month or 2 months. But if you got a holding tank, it only gets so full and then you've got a problem. So I think we should let everybody know that that's not a septic tank.
Yeah, we'll change the wording on that. Which part of the page is that on?
It's on page 21, down under recommend bill pumping.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, that's, we don't like that word. We want holding. Yes, gotcha.
And then, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask him. On page 22, North Star Chemical, we bought a whole bunch of chemicals for testing, but this has nothing to do with the testing for carcinogens. This is our normal testing. Does that sound right? Page 22?
Correct.
Okay, revenue. I guess, yeah, I'd like to have everybody hear this. On page 23, for PX Solutions, we're paying them $588.79 for a monthly bill. And if you go back to, can do this, maybe not, it doesn't matter, I can know where to find it. Yeah, the Lage Land and Financial on page 18. We pay them a whole bunch of money for security cameras, and I have no problem paying for security cameras because there's a lot of them, which is good. We want them where they can be useful. But so what I don't understand is how we pay the Lage Land and all this money for cameras, services. It just says the security camera locations. I don't need to know where the locations are, but then we're also paying PAC for the leases. I don't understand why there's two companies involved with cameras. I'm just guessing that they're the same cameras, but maybe they aren't. Maybe PAC is a different company that does different cameras. Is everybody with me on that?
I'd have to look at it, Jim, like they're all going.
Because I also noticed that Delage Landon, on top of paying them for all these cameras, we also pay them for a lot of copiers. I was confused about that. What did I come up with here? Yeah, we're paying them for 8 copy machines, and I can't imagine why we would need 8. I mean, I can imagine 4, maybe 5, but we're paying them for 8, so I don't know.
I think what you're seeing, Jim, is this is broken out by fund. So we're charging multiple funds, so it's not 8.
Okay.
Whereas if you look at the contract numbers, they're bunched up into, like the one I'm looking at, like contract 6031 has 3 line items there, contract 8960. Copy machine has 3 lines.
And I think these are all just, these are all the leases.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're the leases, because that's what we lease the coverage, which is actually, should be a good deal, rather than buying one and having it break and have to try and get it fixed.
Right, so they only get one check, but we itemize it, we break it apart. Across the funds.
Right,
So
thank
it
you.
is a lot, but fewer than what you initially.
Yeah, well, I did try and break it down by where and what, because what I got written down is 8 for the city, and it's gotta be 2 for City Hall, 3 for the sewer, and 3 for Public Works. And that just seemed odd, but I get exactly what you're saying, Howard, thank you. That makes much more sense about those. Almost done holding the meeting up. Let's see here. Oh, and again, on page 27, Water Lab Corporation, again, these sample tests are these standard samples, that's not, has nothing to do with carcinogens, is that right?
Correct. Standard test, right.
And,
And it could have been for an event,
Hmm.
you know, we've had a boil water notice, last month. It could have been associated with that. Those are all standard tests.
and one thing, this is just an observation, last month, February, on, page 25, for Tide Eat Oil Incorporated, we paid, $2,594.41 for fuel. That's gonna go up, so we got a bigger expense coming. I mean, the way things are going, it could potentially double. It's an observation, kind of a heads up for you, Preston, that, yeah, you can budget for it, but, you never know what it's gonna do. And I apologize for holding everybody up, that's all I got.
Peter?
Well, first, I wanna say, Jim, I don't think you have to apologize, I appreciate that you're so thorough every time. And also, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Alright, that passes, okay. Take this, that way you've got. Okay, so, next, we have the budget calendar for, 2027. There's nothing out of the ordinary, I don't think, Jim, good.
I was just looking through this, first thing is the budget committee application to do, how many people are we adding, replacing, how many slots are open right now?
2 slots.
2 slots.
Those are each for 3-year terms.
Thank you.
I think we advertised for those to be returned like April 15th, something like that, to give us time to put them in the packet for appointment, that 3rd week in April. I can't remember the date we asked for. It was prior to put them in the packet.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looks like the appointments would be April 20th, but,
April 20th.
do we know, any of the, expiring, members, are they interested in reapplying, or do we know that?
I don't know.
Okay. As long as they know they can reapply, that would be fine. So then the actual budget meeting would be April 30th. That's a Thursday. So that's the big thing for us.
You bet,
one we need to be
that's a big thing. The highlights are basically April 30th, budget presentation. The next Thursday, if you need a second meeting to approve it, and then it comes back to the council for adoption, at your June, 15th meeting. Is that right, 15th?
That'd be correct for.
Is that a Monday?
It is Monday.
Okay, yeah.
On item 3 and 10, it says, publish of the notice under 2025 city council agenda, so that'd be 26.
Yeah, right.
What I was thinking, I just wasn't, figured I'd bring it up.
Correct, yes, thank you.
Okay, here,
And then down below, yeah, those 2 spots.
I move to approve the budget calendar for fiscal year 2026, -27.
okay, any discussion? Okay, alright, all in favor? Alright, that passes. Okay, next up, we have the, resolution 2026-B approving an event at Southside Park, on page 33.
Yeah, Your Honor, you might remember Mary Ann Thompson came in, representing the chamber, discussed this with the council, at your work session. And so now, this resolution implements, council discussion from that meeting. It doesn't approve the event, they still have to apply. And, do all the checklist things that are needed with a regular park reservation form. So, that's, would be worked out. But otherwise, the closing of the park for that half day, for that private event, the resolution, provides the council's authorization to suspend that park requirement, regulation for this one event only. All the recitals mention all the reasons why you would consider such a thing. And like I said last meeting, you want a good reason to suspend the rule. This is it. This is a great reason to do it. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Well, it says half a day. Do we know what time they would actually close the park? I think everybody would like to know.
They don't know yet.
Okay.
They don't know which day yet. So, that's all part of the form. They haven't got the form yet. So,
Mary Ann,
Hi, Mary Ann.
Hi.
Mary Ann, you can go ahead and come on up if you
Oh,
want.
okay, so, am I kind of concerned about that
Can
too?
you turn the mic on?
Oh, okay. When the city hosted the chamber meeting here about a week and a half ago, several of the board meeting members were at that meeting, and I tried to get them corralled around so that I could get an answer. And they said, can I give them another week? And so I was hoping that what we could do tonight was just decide whether or not the council's gonna be in favor of allowing the beer and wine to be served in the park and closing the park. And because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the 30th, yeah, we talked about it. But I can't speak for them, and a couple of them went to Europe, so it just makes it difficult to get an answer sometimes.
It's okay.
Which month is that?
May.
And May, yeah.
And as far as the part of the day, it would be in the afternoon until sometime in the evening, is that right?
Here's what I think, I would think that we would need to, have setup time begin around noon. And then if we could just go from there and but one of the things that we pledged to do is, make sure that park is spotless before we leave that night. So that nobody needs to come in and clean up after us in any way, so that's our goal.
Okay. And then I guess it'll depend on what the application says too, but I setup might not, the park might not have to be closed for setup, but I guess that wouldn't be a bad thing, but,
Okay.
let's do with the application.
I would think that, there's so much in the way of whether we're gonna have live music, we hope to, and we usually do.
Oh.
And things like that, get bandstands, and then, of course, there's a lot to do with community awards happening, and so we'll need a podium where people can come up and receive their trophies or certificates or whatever. So that's the main kind of thing, and then the tables are set up with tablecloths and, that kind of thing, and there's so that's the type of setup that needs to happen. And you're right, it probably isn't gonna take that long, but I would think that to be all nice and ready by the time the event starts, 2 or 3 hours would be good. Yeah. Did you have something for me?
Jim, good.
Just so you mentioned you're gonna have lighting, but sunset that night should be at 8:43 Pacific Daylight Time, so it's gonna start to get dark after about 8:30.
Okay, I'll check into that too, as far as maybe we'll have, like we have had it outside before, when it was, and that seemed to go pretty well. But to see if we can get some of that, like outdoor lighting maybe, or something like that. I would be happy to deliver the details as soon as those people come back and start answering questions.
You have time to work that out.
Okay, so the date's not an issue, and then so tonight, are you guys about to decide whether or not we can, okay, that's.
Yeah.
And then I promise to get right back as soon as I can. I would love to have it in by now, but.
It's okay, that's all fine.
All right, thank you so much.
Jim?
I move to approve resolution 2026B, approving the event at the Southside Park.
Second.
Great, any discussion? You go.
I think seems like a kind of no-brainer. Should probably support this one. To be honest, I feel like, unless somebody from the community comes forward and says something, I see no reason why we can't just kind of give free reign of the park for most of the day. Preston's, of course, direction. seems like this is no brainer to me. That's it.
Any other discussion on that? Okay, go ahead and vote then, all in favor? Okay, that's unanimous, all right.
Yay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, now next up, City Hall landscape proposal. And I believe David's here. If anyone has any questions or any comments on this?
Yes, you need to hear the story.
Oh, there's a story? Okay.
Yeah.
Come on up then.
Yes. David, how you doing, buddy? Let me get started.
Okay.
So this isn't just a beautification of City Hall. That's nice, but this is actually the latest chapter in a story of the council's concern for the environment. It began, about 3 years ago, when you allowed backyard beekeeping. Next to the brew barrels and everything, yeah, but backdoor beekeeping, isn't that nice? So the council followed up with that, with a prohibition on forever chemicals and these neonics, these pesticides. This was actually in your packet, turned out really nice. And it describes how important bees are to pollinating and all the foods we have. The whole picnic spectrum of foods we enjoy, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for pollinators. And the other side describes how these pesticides affect bee colonies. In case people are wondering why this is so important. And so the next part of the story is doing a pollinator's paradise here at City Hall. And there's even been a suggestion among staff to have a flower planting day, so the staff can go out and connect. But also even having like a brochure place where something like this could be in a brochure, for people that are sitting out there or enjoying it, whatever. So that's nice. Along with the doggy bag station. Yes, we need one of those. So it's a wonderful thing, a wonderful continuation of this. The Park and Rec Committee last month loved the plan. I think there were even cheers for David. But we also have a suggestion for the placement of a couple special trees out in this area. And I'll let David talk to you about that. But the Park and Recreation Committee enthusiastically endorses this plan. And hoping that the council doesn't get too involved in this, we want to install this next month. So with that, I'd like to introduce David Stearns from Treedemption, who has a fabulous nursery out there on the highway. In case you haven't seen it, I got a tour. It's fabulous. It really is. And one of the things, one last thing, the partnership here between the city getting this done is that our crews, our staff will dig all the holes. David says, I want one here, everywhere, and we dig everything and help those get planted because of all the lines we have out here, irrigation lines, utility lines, etc. Our guys, our crew, our staff will dig all the holes. Now David guarantees the maintaining everything for a year. At that point, we take it, as a maintenance function of our crew. So we're looking forward to learning a lot and doing a great thing with our Pollinators Paradise. David.
Nice, thank you all for being here.
Bring it on.
Appreciate you, Preston, for taking the time to check out the farm, coming out. For those of you that don't know, I have Treedemption Gardens on the highway right before the Dairy Queen and Chevron. We're a 5-day-a-week retail nursery, but we're also on 6 acres of land
that we've been rewilding and just restoring with all sorts of organic, natural methods, and it's been amazing what's happened at that property just in the last 3-4 years of really planting some of these flowers and attracting some of these native pollinators. And I've seen it completely transform, even in my own place. And this city hall is something that's been talked about for a few years, just more seriously in the last year. I'm part of Sheridan revitalization, and part of that is like beautifying the city and getting it more visually appealing. And I hear great comments from people out of town. It's a cute city by the bridge. We got a couple great spots that would be great to landscape. But City Hall right here is just such the center, the hub of town. And I feel like it's really leading by example to really take that space that's out here that's all open and plant things that are great for our native pollinators, for the butterflies, for the hummingbirds, for the bumblebees and the honeybees, and a mixed pollinator garden that would flower from April all the way till October, and we can have all sorts of different colors and life, and I think it'll just boost the morale of the city a little bit, in addition to doing something that's beneficial for the pollinators and maintain it all, no spray, no chemicals, and just feed it completely organic and put it in right so that a couple of years from now it's just loaded with flowers and pollinators. And also another thing is I'm getting involved with the schools, and it would be great to have more city locations where they can come and get some seeds, get some cuttings, learn about these certain installing. It can also be a example garden for the children. So I feel like there's a lot of benefits to it, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I included about a dozen plants, maybe 15 different varieties of plants, and half of them are native here in Oregon. So part of that is installing some native plants, things that will do really well here. All these plants, once established, are very drought tolerant, and they are large and established in 1 to 3 gallons. I actually did bring some of the plants with me if any of you all want to see, because right now this is just numbers and words on a paper, and it doesn't really correlate to what the value is. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, let me add on, we've got a couple of special trees we're gonna plant.
Yeah, the trees, there's a plaque out front that says dedicated to this lovely couple. And yeah, there's just no tree, right? So
This is for the nice leaves, the tree dedicated there, well, there is no tree, so we're gonna rededicate a tree as part of this landscaping. A
yeah.
couple of trees we wanna add, or, I'll add to the contract. But you wanna talk about the species we've looked at and talk to the Park and Rec about?
Do you have the trees that you're looking for?
Yeah, I do, yeah, and we do have different native trees that would work real well. I talked to Dorothea on the Parks and Rec, and there's a few native trees that could be really good. The ones that won't get too large, not too bushy, won't block the city hall, won't obstruct the view when people are coming to turn. It's something we think about a lot. A vine maple could be really nice, a native tree. Serviceberry is also something that was mentioned. It's a beautiful, great for the pollinators, and it turns into like a 15-20 foot tree with berries, and it's good for birds and butterflies. It can kind of be like a native tree out there, but open to suggestions on all sorts of that. I think
What about fruit trees?
that's something, that's something I'm very passionate about, and the plaque actually says that this couple was devoted to working with the food bank and working with the community to bring in food. So I think fruit trees are very symbolic of like that abundance and things like that, especially with something that wasn't too messy, like probably not an apple or a plum, but if it was like a fig or like something unique, like a persimmon, I think it could be really nice. Yes, Lucy?
Well, they used to have Italian prune tree orchards, and that's kind of symbolic of Sheridan also. On my property, there's still a couple left, but there used to be orchards of those.
Yeah, that's good to know the history.
And they're fairly easy to, they're fairly easy to grow, and they taste really good. I don't think you'll worry about any of them dropping to the ground versus maybe even employees going out there and grabbing a plum off a tree.
Yeah.
And Italian prunes are not like most prunes. They're very good, and they're very small and compact.
It's true.
So, but that is significant of this area also.
Yeah, I was hoping for it to be a community idea, but I like the idea of a fruit tree personally. If it was pruned, kept small.
They don't get that big.
They don't get that big. Yeah, those are nice
and
ones.
they last forever.
Yeah, something along that, or a persimmon, or or a native tree. But that's just something that's left up to discussion. But I think it is nice either take the plaque down or put a tree there.
could you do with those like they do kind of like out of Webster's, where they use apple trees, but they train them to grow? Is it possible to train one to be like an arbor? That'd be kind of cool looking, but you know, I mean, I
Yeah,
see they do it with other plants.
I think
and
the
stuff.
plum's like more like an umbrella type shape, but could see about doing a little bit of
If
trellising with it.
you planted them just right, I imagine they'd give that effect anyhow.
Mhm.
And just a thought.
No, I like the fruit tree idea, definitely.
So there is room to put a couple trees that we want in this site, and one for rededication for the Nicelings. And it's a combination of the ones that like Dorothea mentioned, perhaps, you know, Lucy mentioned the Italian prune, is that right?
Italian.
So it'll be a question of finding a very hardy, you know, well-stocked tree that's available. You know, maybe it is the serviceberry, maybe it's Italian prune or something. We're gonna look at ones on that short list that we discussed with the Park and Rec, and then we'll get the biggest one we find, you know, so we'll talk about that.
Jim?
You know, Richard, the proposal of 2 questions. The last plant you got there is milkweed.
Yes.
Well, as its name says, but we grew up on a farm. Those were weeds. We got rid of those.
They are in a way, but they're also very critical for the monarch butterflies as like a host plant, and they are a beautiful flower. They have pink little things, and they're not too invasive. And
I was another question: are they invasive?
Yeah, as a pollinator plant, they're a super plant, definitely, especially for butterflies.
Okay. And then the next paragraph down, you know, you're talking about things. It says the fertilizer and mulch, which the nursery can provide. I would hope that would be a will provide.
Yeah, that's part of the package. Is that we have truck trailer, we have the amendments, we have all the fertilizer, mulch, compost, everything available. Yeah.
And then one last question: when we get, you know, we're talking about trees, we don't know how much. Can this whole thing, you've got it down at 4,760, can we keep it under 5,000?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we could find a tree for less than 200, 250.
I'm a penny watcher.
Hey, I appreciate that.
We all know Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, any other,
George, your hand up? Oh.
okay, any other questions? Right, Jim?
I move to approve the landscape plan for City Hall from Treedemption Gardens in the amount of $4,760 plus the extra cost of 2 trees.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I have a question for Tyler. David is a close personal friend of mine. Should I be abstaining from this vote, or does this matter? I don't know.
Only friend is not a technical conflict.
Okay.
You can choose to abstain if you would feel more comfortable.
No, I'm fine with doing that. I just want to make sure I'm following that.
Not an ethical violation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for disclosing it.
Any, see, anything else? Okay, all right, all in favor? Okay, that's all right.
thank you. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Talk to you soon, David.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Next up, we have the Public Works, staff report. Any questions or comments on this? Mary mentions the ADA curb ramps. Is there, Preston, do you know, is there any work the city's doing on any of the sidewalks on Main, or is it all over right now?
All over that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, it's all sidewalk accessibility, except in some areas, there's some storm work that's involved. Like over by the bookstore, it's pretty substantial work there. Connecting and redirecting the storm, is what that's all about.
Okay, any comments about this report? Otherwise, we'll move on.
Can I mention, since we're
Yeah.
Public Works, that we took we received, the new, sewer-related utility truck. It's four-wheel drive Chevy. Ordered it several months ago, you might remember we talked about that, came in this week. We now have, 3 vehicles that have all the towing capability we need. You know, basically water, sewer, streets, each division, each team has their own ability to take any equipment out that you need. And that's great, so thank you for the council for that. We've also, you bring in the old one, you take out, you bring in the new one, you take out the old one. And, it replaces the Ford 250, which is sitting down there in Salem, it's on the state bid list, to be auctioned next time they do their auction. So we're gonna try that and see how that works, for the bidding. So that's, an update on that.
Alright, well then we'll move on then to the library director report on page 45. Jim?
Once again, this looks like the library's showing gangbusters. Most of these numbers compared to last month are higher, especially the total circulation. And I especially like that under program participation, last month they only had, I think, only 99 people. This month they had 183, which is almost double participation. So I think that it shows once again that the library is one of the hubs of Sheridan, and they've also, this is kind of a free plug for the Friends of the Sheridan Public Library. The bingo night is a fundraiser. I think getting more funds for the library, since the city doesn't have an awful lot of funds to share, is a great idea. So I'd encourage anybody to go play bingo from 6 to 7:45 on the 25th of April from 5 to 8.
Okay, other comments on this bidding tokens record? Sharing that's great. Okay, we'll move on then. So next is code compliance. 37. So how many was that? Comments on this?
I've got a couple concerns. We know, I'm on page 47, so the one case is pending on-site inspection. Do we know what that's about?
Well, all the stages of compliance generally require a follow-up inspection. And, I'm tracking down the one you're looking at there.
It's a
Oh, it's summary.
shed
Okay. Was it?
that is
Just
maybe too large or.
That's just that, that's on the planning, or is it something different? The planning board has it.
Probably not on the plan.
Yeah, this would be something different, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, on page 55, I'll make sure I got it right. It's got 9 pending tows, but on page 47, he's got 20 notices issued for towing. Well, it says towing in traffic, but it doesn't mention any parking citations or tows completed. So what happened to the other 11? Are they in process or one of the first versus second versus third type things? Or?
They might have been moved.
Well, typically some people take it to the brink and then it gets fixed. The next report will show tows.
Oh,
Cause I know we've already, we've done that. Whether there's fines yet appearing on the next report, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
there are 20 vehicles listed on there, but only,
Well, I guess some might say closed, which
so maybe that's what they're.
I'm like, that's right. Yeah, I was reading maybe these reports were done on 11 different days and you missed it. So I'm like, oh, okay, I definitely did. Thank you.
might be it.
I would guess, Jim, that each of the vehicles listed on page 55 receive a pre-tow notice. That's where that 20 comes from.
Those might have been closed because they were moved.
We like that. Oh, that's a different question in the same area. Long while back, I don't remember, nobody else does. Green bus guy,
Yes.
he used to park up by the Mennonite church illegally, and the sheriff would go up and talk to Green bus guy and say, hey, you can't park here.
Yeah.
Well, they'd argue about it, he'd get his 72 hours, and he'd move it up one block. I moved. The sheriff said, no, that doesn't cut it. Well, I would hope that's true for,
Correct.
some of these, if you're just moving it, well, I moved it one car place back, that's not, doesn't count.
Well, apparently one, person, pushed their car, a spot or two. And that's the way they got around that for a long, long time. That don't fly anymore.
But particularly, I haven't read the actual, regulation, whatever, it's an ordinance. But they're supposed to be, in running condition and have current tags and insurance too.
Correct. Yes.
So if they had to push it, sounds like it wasn't in running condition.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's a deep cut.
Oh, yeah, when you've been around a while, you don't have to bring up the old stuff.
Any other comments on this report? Okay. Okay, then we're move on then to the city planner, which is page 57. Looks like the large subdivision on Viola is getting an extension, so they haven't left that yet, so. Good here, I always wonder what the status of that is. I think we've been hearing about it since 2022 or earlier.
Yeah, it's sad, that's what the status is. Sorry.
Okay, any comments on this report? Danny?
I just noticed that on Sheridan Road where the 17 tiny homes, I call them.
That's not the mobile home park that you're talking about?
Manufacturing home park.
Yeah, manufactured home park. They came in, they did a bunch of work, then they left for a long time, and just the financing thing, and they came back in, and boy, they did a whole bunch of work, and now there's nothing happening there, and all the equipment's gone. Last time they left the equipment for a while, but this time there's nothing there, so I was just wondering if.
Still no manufactured homes there?
No, not even close to be ready. I understand they did, get awarded $6 million.
Like I said, we saw that they got a grant, so they should have the money to.
I hope that it doesn't go the way of some other things that have gone.
Well, typically all the public improvements come in first before the private. Not always, but that is typically the way it works.
Any other comments on this report? Okay. Okay, so Preston, it's your turn.
Okay, thanks for, just a few things. I was gonna mention the budget committee, vacancies were being advertised for 2 spots. Hopefully you'll have a couple of folks, each can point on, the April regular meeting. The repurposing of the grant for Yamhill Street, this is for the sewer line, main replacement project, which we're trying to repurpose, not to replace, but to line. That process to get the rest of that grant repurposed for the lining is moving forward. We went past a really big hurdle in that. We're not through it all yet, but I think some of the biggest milestones to reach to get the new scope of work accepted and another environmental review done has been very favorably received by Business Oregon, who's administering the CDBG grant on our behalf. And so to finish all of that work, I have a proposal from our engineers, $46,000 to change the scope of work, to administer the rest of the grant, as well as perform the environmental review. All the things the state required us to come up with a plan for. They really liked the proposal from our engineers. So I said, great, if that can proceed, and we can get the project scheduled to extend it to through September, basically, of next year, 2027. They say, yeah, we repurpose the grant, we get it extended. Okay, then now we have to commit to that $46,000 for the engineering work. And I said, yes, the city will commit to that once we get our ducks in a row. Yes, Jim?
So we need to commit to that, and then somebody still has to approve it, so we could, in essence, we're hanging $46,000 after we spent it. It could go either way, is that?
I have not authorized the $46,000 yet. That's all contingent upon the state approving the repurposing of the grant and all.
But the feds still have to have their say too.
Oh, well, I'm letting Business Oregon deal with that. It's very difficult to get CDBG monies repurposed. And so, they've really worked hard on this, and I think we're gonna get it. It looks good. It looks very good. So we won't have to commit to that until it's all a kind of a done deal from the state standpoint. But it's looking very good. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to mention is we have a repair at our water treatment plant that we need to do. And it has to do with our mixing area where the very few things we add to the water, soda ash, and, chlorine, it all gets mixed, it all then goes through the filter, and then it goes in our holding tank. Very important mixing area. And we have the supplies that are falling apart, rusting. We need to replace about 5,000 of materials, and most of it is welding. Our guys have done all the welding we can do, and the rest is gonna take, a local contractor. We're trying to reach out to 3 of them. One's non-responsive, we're trying to get 3 bids, but I wanna get this thing going immediately and not delay in getting that done. It's very important. So I'll be authorizing that probably tomorrow. It's gonna be somewhere around 20 grand. Yeah, Jim?
Plus, you beat me to it, 20 grand, we're guessing approximately.
Correct.
Okay, and then this is, I like this because you're telling us this is gonna happen because it has to.
Right.
Great, I think that sometimes we don't hear that, and then we find out we spent a bunch of money, and we didn't know about that, but no, I really like what you're telling us, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jim, and, yeah, it's one of those repairs, where, the paint kind of covers up, the rust, and,
I mean,
and-
just let's just repaint.
Yeah, and so you gotta fix it, and, we've stopped any kind of leaks and everything, but so we're trying to get 3 bids. We may not get 3 bids, doesn't matter, we're gonna get it done. Buying local, all good. We're gonna talk about buying local when we do purchasing policy updates in a few months. After the budget. But David Stearns with Treedemption, can't get more local than that. It's pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, thanks for your support on that, Jim. That's all I had, Your Honor.
Any questions for Preston? Okay. Okay, well then we'll move on then to mayor and councilor comments. Denny, you wanna start?
I just wanted to say it was a Southside Park on Saturday, and there was like 15 cars there, probably 30 people fishing and just enjoying the park. So I was really excited. That was great.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, I know we still have $400,000 worth of work to be done out there to finish the project. Are we any closer to getting that portion of work done so we can get that stupid grant squared away and maybe get some money back?
Well, it's more like about $200,000 that is still left.
Okay.
And my impression is we've been reimbursed for everything we expect to be reimbursed of. What's left is what's remaining of that, about 200,000. So I could be wrong, but that's kind of where I think we're at
I
on
don't
that
believe we've
grant.
received any reimbursement on that grant yet.
None, you're saying?
Correct.
That's it. The last we saw, because we haven't had a grant tracking sheet, thanks to Tower Tech, but we haven't had the grant tracking sheet in about 3 months. But the last one showed we were $672,000 negative. And I sure hope we haven't seen all the money we're
Well,
gonna
I'm
get.
obviously thinking about another grant then. Cause I reported on one last summer that we received, all the ones we were expecting to receive. And there hasn't been much work since, you know, we have to install the bridge.
Right.
And we got some other things at the park. It's
What
about
Kai
$200,000.
said is we gotta get everything done to officially say, okay, we did our part.
Correct.
Give us some money, please, because, you know, you gave us a grant, we'd like the grant money, please.
Right. Yeah, I just talked with Kai this morning about getting our grant report in and showing the status of where we're at and what's left to remain, so. Yeah, beautiful park, love it. Yes.
Okay, other comments? Peter, okay. Somebody want a motion to adjourn? Peter?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay. Okay, any discussion on adjourning? No, okay, all right, all in favor? Okay, we're adjourned at 7:07. Really had much to do with it.
Reverse slender.